And just like that, we are back here in Long Beach at Church Automotive Testing, and my car is right over there. And you can see she's a bit dirty, but at least she has the wheels off, all ready to go. I haven't seen this thing in about a week, and I haven't driven it in about 2 weeks. So yeah, it's been a very, very long time. And I'm just so excited to at least get this thing done and finally have a proper tune as well. All right, now we're about to start the dyno test. Well, I think this is a cold start, so. Never mind. So loud. All right, this should be the first hit, and hopefully we're hoping to make at least 700 wheel horsepower, maybe a bit more with the tune revision, but we'll see what happens. Already up 100 horse, so we'll see what happens in the next one. We made 704 on that run, 704 wheel horsepower. So that's where it should be on the top. There's still a little bit more to go, and we still have to add the boost chiller in the tune. So once we add that, I think we should be all good as far as making more power. So I'm hoping maybe mid 700s, close to 8 on 91, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, Sean here, he's doing absolutely everything, and his magic is working perfectly fine. Well, we just found out another problem, and it doesn't look like coolant's getting through the supercharger, and the Weapon X boost chiller doesn't seem like it's getting through the supercharger either. So I think in some part where it's routed, it's kind of blocked. But let's see what kind of numbers the car made on its final pass. 667, it's not bad, not bad. So as soon as we fix the inner chiller issue, then we should be up there. Oh, wow. So this feels cold, but it just doesn't seem like it's getting through. Yeah. So that should basically cool it out.
that usually tells us then that we got the manifold, the speed density and the mass airflow calibration right, because in the torque model, right? Because if the mass airflow calibration is not right, when we try to do rev matching,
yeah,
we'll either go too little or too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's always a good signal that we've got the calibration close on that area as well.
Yeah.
Again, that's why we just wiped the old tune out and started again, because I just didn't trust anything that was done.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. Definitely didn't feel right for sure. But if I do the...
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Do you want me to keep a bit of distance and then...
When we get to the freeway, we get on it.
Oh, okay, sure.
One of the things I like about tuning GM cars is that, unlike most other models out there, GM uses both mass airflow and speed density.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's a little bit more work, but you have to make sure both are calibrated correctly. But in doing so, you get a chance to kind of make sure that they're self-checking. So you know if one's noticeably off, then you haven't got it right.
So you're not chasing after one or the other in that sort of sense?
Well, you have to make sure they're both correct, but if you know one's pretty close and the other one's way off, then it tells you need to start looking for changes that have to be made in the calibration. So it's kind of like it's a self-check function that GM uses, but it also, in the tuning process, kind of gives you two ways to verify that you're in the right place. Right. It's kind of like working for the right answer from two different directions.
Right. Just getting off the line, though, I can definitely feel it sway.
It's not turned that in foggy.
Exactly. Yeah. Biggest thing was when I put it to neutral, it would bog down, then come back up to chase it, and that sort of way.
Because of the temperature. Oh, it did? We're up to 180 right now, yeah. So, but it's not knocking, so we know we're safe.
Okay, yeah.
So that's good.
Once you see knocking, though, is that mainly where you see the tune kind of maxing out in that sense, or?
Well, so detonation occurs for a number of reasons, but too high of intake charge temperatures, too much compression, too much ignition timing, right?
Okay. So roger that.
What we want to make sure happens is no matter what conditions we're under, that we're not seeing knock. So when the temperatures get high, we're pulling out timing to protect the motor.
Okay.
So it should pull out timing. So in the dyno, we were running, say, 14, 15 degrees, right?
Right.
But because those were 150, 160 degree temps, now we're up in the 170s, 180s.
Right.
Now it's only running 10, 11 degrees.
Oh,
so it's pulling timing out of it. So we're probably down now to like 625, 630 horsepower right now.
Yeah.
Just because it's pulling all that timing out of it. So we'll get off the next exit up here.
Okay.
Better, more responsive, more powerful than before.
It feels, the higher end feels a lot happier, if that makes sense.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our biggest concern is just that, it's going to run right no matter what temperature it is. So really it should be 120 degrees. Right now it's 183 degrees. But it's not knocking regardless. So that means it's tuned correctly so that no matter what happens, you're safe, right?
Yeah.
And a big problem on, like, say, factory LT4s, especially like the 15, 16 Z06s.
Oh, okay.
They had a big problem with the intercoolers getting air bubbles in them, right? We'll turn left down at the stoplight.
Okay.
And they'd get air bubbles in the intercoolers and the pump would stop working. The pump would shut down because it'd get an air bubble and cavitate, right?
Shit.
And so you'd be running around with basically no intercooler, right? So left turn down there at the light, And so in doing so, they get up to 180, 190, 200 degrees.
Oh, shit.
But the factory calibration is designed to pull timing out if that happens, right? So that at least it's not going to destroy the motor. You lose a lot of power, right?
Right, 100%.
So we have to make sure that with an aftermarket setup like this too, that we're doing the right calibration so that if something does go wrong, like your intercooler stops working, your pump, or your inner chiller stops working, that it's still going to be safe at those temperatures. You can't make a lot of power at those temperatures, but we can make sure the motor doesn't blow up. So we're trying to make sure. Some guys will go in and disable or take out a lot of those safeties because they're concerned it's going to affect their power production if it gets a little bit hot. But you can make 10 more horsepower and it doesn't really get you much, but losing the motor costs you a lot. So we want to make sure that never happens. Right?
No, 100%, 100%.
But yeah, so it runs smooth. So I think as soon as we get that inner chiller fixed and the intercooler pump fixed, or whatever's going on with that, I mean, we were making I think it was 677 at 160 degree temperatures, 155. We made 704 before we really started tuning at 125 degrees.
Yep.
So if we can get back down close to 100 degrees, I think, yeah, 730, 740, maybe even 750 is within reach. Yeah.
That's insane.
But at that point, our injectors are going to be pretty
Max.
close. So right now we're at about 5.2. They don't have the light, so you can go. We're about 5.2 to 5.3 milliseconds, and you can get to about 6.5. Get over to your right.
Okay.
And then go underneath the freeway and turn right.
Okay.
But yeah, you get to about 6.5 milliseconds before you run out of fuel injector, right? And it's not so much you're running out of injector; it's the injector can't keep injecting, or else it's going to overlap with the spark, so you get a misfire, right?
Oh, I see.
That's 6.5, 6.7 is about where we max out at.
So right here.
Right here. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're at 5.2, 5.3 right now,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
But once we get the temperature down to 100 degrees, well,
Yep.
we're going to need 8 to 10% more fuel there, right?
Okay.
So then
Yeah.
5.2, 5.3 now is going to be 5.7, 5.8, 5.9.
Okay.
So that's why I said we're going to be like 85, 90% of our fuel capacity on these injectors at that point.
Right.
So
Okay.
there's just no room for ethanol at that point. Maybe E30 is the most we can get to.
That's sort of complicated, but at the same time, like it makes sense.
Yeah, it's all just math, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You just have to understand what the variables are.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask too, like when you're in tight situations and you can't really use the gas pedal when you're engaging the clutch, just kind of slowly engaging off the clutch with no gas, is that still okay for the car, or is that excessive wear for?
I leave in second gear like that sometimes.
Oh, really?
In traffic, oh yeah.
Oh shit, okay. And just like that, ladies and gents, we are back home. Unfortunately, we couldn't do as many runs as we wanted to because we found, once again, another problem, which is the whole entire supercharger bleeder. When we tried to activate this, no coolant squirted out, which normally it's supposed to, because obviously coolant's supposed to be running through. So what we found out is that there's no coolant going into the supercharger itself. And I also have a boost chiller, and that's not even doing anything as well. So unfortunately, I have another problem once again with this car, and I have to figure that out within the next week or so. Today's Tuesday, and I have an appointment to take my car in to get it fixed on Monday of next week, which is annoying because then that means I can't really drive my car how I want to. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to stop ever since I wanted to just make a few changes and do some preventatives as well for this car, so that way it runs consistently and reliably. That's, I guess, part of having a race car. But I just wanted to give a big shout out to Church Automotive Testing. Sean, he definitely knows his stuff. I mean, if you're in California, definitely hit him up for tuning, and any GM or LS sort of mechanic needs, you hit up the LSX Doctor up on Instagram. Also Chris Johnson at Project Import. He has been absolutely great, clarifying everything and all that sort of stuff that needed to be done to the car. But yeah, without those two, I wouldn't be making my car the way it is right now. But yeah, thank you so much yet again for everyone tuning into yet another video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. We'll have a 3-part, and hopefully by, I want to say, Monday of next week, we'll be able to then figure out what's going on with this supercharger coolant issue. But apart from that, hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.